Hello, termites. Welcome back. It's week 14. Could probably take these sunglasses off. I didn't even realize they're on top of my head. That's what happens when you wear 3 pairs of glasses and you have contacts in. Yeah, there's a lot going on with my eyeballs. What are we drinking today? Well, here's what we're doing. A little Nelly Budweiser. I got it. The whole can. And then it says, I'm from the Lou, St. Louis meaning. It's got STL. How great is that? I want a can. And then it's got all that stuff at St. Louis is where we from. You ain't never heard a week one. That's a line from Nelly's song. Here's another line from his song. It's all because accumulated enough scratch just to navigate it. Wood decorated on chrome and it's candy painted. Face fans fainting while I'm entertaining. Wild, ain't it? How me and money get acquainted. Exactly. Never had a fan faint. Well, I had a guy had a heart attack when I was doing my act. It was terrible. And then the fucked up thing is if you're a comedian, no one takes you seriously. I'm like, somebody call 911. And they're like, I'm like, no, I'm very serious. There's a dude that, well, I didn't know he had a heart attack, but it certainly looked like he had a heart attack. So, what do we got going? Fred Bird, if you've noticed, is still turned around because my St. Louis Cardinals haven't made an offer to Colton Wong. And I don't think they're going to. And I don't know when I can turn Fred Bird back around because I'm so angry about it. Never been this angry at the Cardinals, ever. Still talking a little weird because of the Grand Canyon size hole in the side of my mouth. So we're drinking a little old-fashioned straight-up Bud. Delicious. Although sometimes I must admit, I like Bud Light better because Budweiser, if I drink too many, I get a worse hangover. And my uncle, who works at the brewery, said something about the rice content in one is more than the other. Something about that. And that's why he swears you get the hangover, but only if you don't take well to that, whatever, rice or hops. I don't know. Like to start out with a little Dolly quote as always. Look at Paddles snapping a beer. I heard that.
I love Dolly.
She has her quote book. It's in chapters. So each chapter, the quotes are about one thing. So this is about her womanly assets. I was the first woman to burn my bra. It took the fire department 4 days to put it out. That's Dolly. That's the quote. And I would like to give a shout out to all Queen Stevie, Queen Tanya, Queen Dolly, and Queen Cher because they've all been behaving this week. Nobody has mouthed off. Nobody's gone crazy. No one's bitching. Cher tweeted a lot about the election, but I would expect that. I like it. She's mouthy. I'm going to guess Tanya's probably on Team Trumpy, I would guess. Just guessing. Spitballing, if you will. Stevie, definitely not on Team Trumpy. She's very... Hippie lady says no. Team Biden. Dolly, I don't know. She likes to remain elusive like that. And she likes to remain a mystery. So who knows? But anyway, I've congratulate all of the queens for keeping their mouths shut. They're all over... No, Tanya's not over 70. She is. She is and she is. And I've realized since the pandemic, I don't really go hardly anywhere except to the golf course. And I made a mental note that most of my friends are over 70 now because I don't go do shows anymore where my friends are or to cities where my friends are. And I'm not seeing people my own age. And it's great. I love the 75-year-old guys and their wives and everything. But, you know, we all know what's going to happen in 15 years, right? I need to make friends with younger people. And since I really can't go out to bars, I mean, I'm not going to do that. I'm not just going in bars for just to make a friend. So it'll just have to be you termites. That's it. We're just going to go down a Grey Gardens road, and this is going to get weirder and weirder. What are we eating today? Well, here's what I brought to show you guys. First of all, this is the dog brew, the cans of it that I talked about by Bush. So you can have a beer with your dog. This is not real beer, so please don't text. Please don't write in the comments, why the fuck would you give alcohol? It's not real. It's like broth. Let's see what it says. Here's what it has in it. Crude protein, crude fat, crude fiber, moisture. This is mostly just water. Why wouldn't you put water? Moisture. That sounds gross. How to serve. Serve to your pet as a tasty nutrition boost, whether it's a liquid treat or soften your dry food. There's 16 calories. Maybe your dog doesn't want 16 calories. Maybe he's like, whose dog doesn't need it? Ron's dog, Mustard. That thing's getting fat. Mustard's getting fat. Here we go. Look how excited I was to find these. What? Red Velvet Chips Ahoy. Oh, just when you think they can't think of shit anymore for cookies or whatever. 140 calories for 2 cookies. That's a lot, but it's dessert, right? And then this made me laugh so hard. I love Spaghettios. My friend Kathleen Nelson, also a Spaghettio fan. And it's hard to admit that when you're an adult because you think they're gonna taste the same as when you're a kid, and they don't taste the same, but they're still great in a different way. It's a sodium content, I think, thing. As you grow older, you appreciate salt more because people say you can't have it. I think it's a sodium thing. Let me check the sodium. Oh yeah, potassium, where's the sodium? Well, shit, I don't know, I can't find it. I never knew my whole life. What's riboflavin? No idea. Thiamine? Nope. Niacin? I thought that was poison. It's not. Folate? This is the shit that's in here. Whew, 33 carbs. Sugars, saturated fat.
Delicious.
Potassium, 320 milligrams. Yeah. We probably know Spaghettios aren't great for you, but then my friend Kathy and I couldn't find them, says they make single servings of Spaghettios, but this one, your Spaghettios, the O is shaped like a football. For what? Football season. How great is that? And they teamed up with the NFL. See, it's right there on the can. So 20% of your daily vegetables is contained in this. I find that very hard to believe, but who cares, right? Football-shaped pasta with meatballs made with pork, chicken, and beef in tomato sauce. Just wonderful. I really can't wait to Healthy Kids entree or Healthy Kathleen's entree. The whole can. That's right. And then I'm so disappointed in myself. Well, 2 things. I read all your guys' comments, and I completely, in our taco discussion, forgot about Del Taco. That's because growing up in the Midwest, we did not have those. And then when I moved to California, I was already a Taco Bell lady, and I couldn't do the switch over. One of my friends at the Improv, at the Melrose Improv in Los Angeles, she liked Del Taco so much, when she pulled up, they already knew her order. Can you guys say anything? Can you say that about yourselves? Have you been that dedicated to a restaurant ever? I have a bar, and I have on Delta, because sometimes when they see my name on the list in my seat, they already put a beer there. Yes, it's happened. It's such a great moment when it happens, because then you have a friendly flight attendant, and B, they must have seen me before, because there's either a screwdriver or a Sweetwater, 420 Sweetwater in the seat. Anyway, I can't really comment on Del Taco because I've only had it like twice and I thought it was fine, but I would still, it probably is better, but I was already addicted to Taco Bell, so I can't really comment. What I can say though is I was highly disappointed. I was starving. I had to go. My dad had a surgery. He's fine. He's fine. This is just what happens when your parents are getting older. We do a lot of scanning. We scan them a lot. I think they should call it Scanning Saturdays, except they don't do scanning on Saturdays, I don't think. I don't know. We usually do it on a weekday. They both, Smokey the Clown, Streaky the Clowns. The bill will come due, and it is coming due, and they're being scanned repeatedly. But his surgery was fine and all that. But I was starving, so I went and I wanted to get something to eat before I went there, and I went to Taco Bell, and they don't have breakfast tacos. They had a breakfast burrito, and I thought, fine, that'll be fine. Not fine. And I'm a Taco Bell person. I will defend it to the day it's done. It was the squirt cheese inside. Why would you do that when I know for a fact you have shredded cheese back there? because you put it on the tacos. I don't like that square. It's like the nacho baseball cheese. Some awful cheese was in there. And I got to say, no, sorry, nobody. I'm just warning you. If you don't like that kind of squirt cheese, do not get the Taco Bell burrito. Now, here's what I will recommend. And I can't remember if I've told you guys about this. And then I brought one home to show you on YouTube, but I ate it. And then I threw it in the trash and I forgot. And then I dumped soup on top. Anyway, here's the tip of the century. And if I already told you that, sorry, that's what happens when all your friends are 75. Love's gas stations. I should have Googled. I'm going to see. Where are Love's gas stations? Let's ask the Giggle Box. Where are Love's gas stations? See a map?
Listings for Love's travel stop around Nashville.
I don't need to hear the whole thing. I just need a map. Locations in the country. Oh, is that true? They're only right. That's so sad. They're only in the Midwest, like Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee, Illinois. Anyway, if you are traveling or you live near Love's, their breakfast tacos, they're in a little silver Reynolds wrap thing above the hot dogs. And if you go later in the day, they're 50% off, and they've been sitting there all day. So they have melted into the greatest taco thing ever on earth. That's my tip. I thought Love's were more, I thought there were more places. I guess I just haven't been out, I haven't been out in a while, which is absolutely true. I would like to thank someone from Twitter. Now I'm going to see, I took a picture of it, I think, because I thought sometimes people write really nice things. And this person wrote, hold on, Hannah Gutrich, Hannah G, just randomly wrote, if you want to watch hilarious, moderately political Midwest stand-up comedy, watch Kathleen Madigan on Netflix, parentheses, the red one. She means Bothering Jesus, but I like that she doesn't, she likes me, but not enough to know the name. And that's fine. I forget it too. She is dead ass my favorite woman on the planet, I think. Not sure. That's okay too. Like some days I think she'd be fun, and then other days I'm like, oh, she'd be more fun, right? And then maybe you could just throw some dude in here that's super fun. Anyway, I just like that she said Midwest stand-up, I'll take it, and moderately political. Yes, that is how I would describe, because I don't want to cause, like Lewis, you know, he's a political comedian, but, you know, it starts, I don't know, confrontation. I don't want that. In the Midwest, it's just let's just get along and move about your way and then go do your secret things wherever you want to do them. But people don't want to fight, you know? And I think I have a lot of updates. We'll talk about the election in a little bit. But first we have to do our updates. That was just a nice fan quote. That was from Twitter. We'll talk about how I feel about old people talking about social media. And I don't consider myself an old person when it comes to social media because I'm very active on all these things because I have to be. If I didn't have a comedy career, I would probably be a voyeur on Twitter. I probably wouldn't tweet. I would probably just read. Instagram for Beagle pictures. That'd probably be it. No Facebook. I can't. I do it because I know some of you guys like it. I post what I'm supposed to on there, but there's so much bad shit on there. Updates. Let's start with you know who I want to start with? Here's who I want to start with. Pat fucking Robertson. Did I say that right? Pat now, the evangelical Pat, televangelist Pat. Pat's 90. 90 years old. Still has a television show. I've never had a television show. Pat's still going strong. This article is from a magazine called The Week. You guys ever heard of it? Lewis buys it for me and sends it to me. It's a great magazine because it does the whole world, so you don't feel like it's just more shit about us. But this is what Pat Robertson said. After televangelist Pat Robertson told viewers God had informed him that Donald Trump would be reelected, sparking civil unrest and an Islamic war on Israel, followed by, quote, this is my favorite part, followed by some kind of asteroid strike on Earth that ushers in end times. Now, let's stop right there. I don't really understand end times. Here's what I've gathered as a Catholic. Jesus is gonna come back, and it's gonna be bad, right? But then he's gonna take the good people with him. That's how they always have those shows like Taken or whatever. And then us people, bad people, or say, on the fence people, purgatory people for Catholics, say like I would be in purgatory people probably. We will stay on Earth for 7 more years, and it'll be horrible. Like, basically the things that are happening now: fires, floods, pandemics, and then he'll come back again, I think. Don't quote me on this. And I guess, if you behaved. So basically, you can't tell the Catholics this story, because what you're essentially saying is that the first time he comes is not really last call. When is the last call? And when do I really need to get my shit together? That's the end times, the beginning of what I just said, according to everything I can gather. But I also don't even care enough to look it all up. But this is my pet. I cannot believe this man still has a television show. I really can't. He told him, God told him. This isn't just what Pat thinks. Pat is telling us God told him that, first of all, I want to say, without question, Trump is going to win the election. This was published on October 20th, by the way, 2020. He told the viewers during a segment on the 700 Club, the 90-year-old founder of the Christian Broadcasting Network, who's been a supporter and defender of the president, also made dire predictions about the end of the world. Here, I'll try to do my best Pat Robertson. Well, I think, very frankly, what I think, very frankly, is the only thing that will fulfill the word of Jesus is some kind of asteroid strike on the globe. It's a sudden destruction. It's not going to be some nuclear war. We're not going to be allowed to blow up this earth, the earth up. Okay, you can't, it's just some asteroid strike. That sounds like my science. Like, no, Pat, if you're talking to God, let's get it. Tell me what's going to really happen. But here's the other thing, Pat has. These are his other prophecies. This is why I don't understand why people are still watching this channel, and why are they still giving Pat money. I think you get one shot at it, one shot at calling the end of the world. And if you're wrong, you're out. That's it. You can't say shit like that repeatedly and be wrong, or I don't know why anyone would trust you. Robertson has made such prophecies before and was wrong. In 1976. He predicted the world would end in 1982. Strike one. And in his 1990 book, The New Millennium, he said that the world would be destroyed on April 29th, 2007. Maybe that's why on Tuesday, after describing the destruction the asteroid will cause, Robertson said, then maybe the end. Maybe. Now he's thrown in maybes. Did you notice that? Robertson said, more than 5 years will pass between the end of the election and the asteroid's arrival. Well, so far as we can tell, Donald didn't win. So I guess none of this applies. But if he had won, he's saying that then we'd have 5 years while Donald's president, which doesn't make sense because it would be 4. Fuck, even his math is fucked up. And then the asteroid arrives. He predicted horrible civil disobedience will commence after the election. So far, not really. But Trump hasn't accepted it. So I don't know. I think they're standing by. I don't know what people will do, but I've seen a lot. I got to give the Trumpers a lot of credit on merch. Those 2020 signs flipped to 2024 immediately. I don't know how you get shit that quickly. I don't know how you make it that quickly. Maybe there was a 4 behind it already and they kept 22 and then instead of 0. But I also feel like that's an admission that he lost. I don't know if I would have turned mine. God is going to bring a period of great peace after all this. Oh, wait. He predicted horrible civil disobedience will commence after the election. There will be at least 2 attempts on Trump's life, and a war against Israel will end. Oh, who's going to war with Israel? Will end only when God intervenes. God is going to bring a period of great peace. That is, until the asteroid hits. What? The fuck? This is a 90-year-old lunatic babbling on. Even if I wanted to agree with this, none of this makes sense. At the end of the segment, Pat said, I think it's time to pray. I do too, Pat. Couldn't agree more. Wow. I mean, who sends this man money? Is it old people? Is it people that are confused? I mean, come on. Don't give Pat any more money. Pat's told you the world was going to end twice, and he was really, really fucking wrong. So, no, that's it. I like that the second time he told us the world was going to end, he gave us a month and a day. Right after you paid your taxes on the 15th and you felt so good about yourself, he said the world was going to end on April 29th, 2007. Before that, he just said a year. Then he got more specific. Oh, my God. Speaking of God, I'm going to go look up end times. I'll have a better... My description was super sloppy, to say the least. Update! The St. Louis gun-waving couple. This is so crazy to me because I know this guy because in college I was an intern at UPI, which stands for what? United Press International. Because why? I was a journalism major. And I think this is the same Bill Greenblatt that I worked with. He was my boss at UPI, which I didn't think UPI... I thought AP kind of enveloped them, or they merged, but I guess it. So here's what the gun-toting St. Louis couple, and I don't know if any of you guys saw the versions of them as Halloween costumes online, but they were great. They were dead on. I don't know how these people found the exact same outfits. Looks like it's from Chico's or Talbot's. That would be my guess for the ladies' outfit, and the man. Nah, it wasn't even Eddie Bauer. It was boring. Khakis and a button. Yeah, he had like a little... What is that? Like Brooks Brothers, maybe?
Yeah, but
maybe.
Discount Brooks Brothers. The outlet.
The outlet. Oh, Paddles just said it's the outlet Brooks Brothers. St. Louis couple. Mind you, no matter what I say here, these people aren't going to get in trouble. The governor already said it. Trumpy already said it. So everything they do is just bullshit. There's no reason for any of it. None of it. They've already been guaranteed you're fine. But these people, what did I say in the other podcast? They're lawsuit happy. And if you Google them, that's all they do is sue people. They wrecked somebody's beehive and then sued about that. And then they sued somebody over 5 feet of land in between one house and the other house. Because they're both lawyers too. But my dad's a lawyer. He doesn't sue people. Not that I'm aware of. I don't think he's ever sued anybody. I think in his mind he wanted to. I don't think he went through it. All right. A St. Louis couple facing felony charges for waving guns at racial injustice protesters who marched near their home allege in a lawsuit that a news photographer trespassed to capture an image of the confrontation. Okie dokie. All right, I'll keep reading before I say what I think. Mark and Patricia McCloskey, lawyers in their 60s, filed the lawsuit Friday in the St. Louis Circuit Court against United Press International photographer Bill Greenblatt and the wire service, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports. Bill Greenblatt, that's got to be the same Bill. I can't believe these people are suing him. At issue was a protest on June 28th when a few hundred marchers veered onto the private street near the McCloskey's $1.5 million home in St. Louis's posh Central West End area. Mark McCloskey emerged with an AR-15 rifle, and his wife displayed a semi-automatic handgun. And can I just point out that there were quite a few photos at one point where one of them was pointing their gun at the other one, meaning the married couple, Mark and Patty. Let's call her Patty, shall we? Which, if you've ever in a gun safety class. It's like the first thing. Even when you get a BB gun on the inside of the box, what's the first thing? Don't ever point a gun at another human. What are these two yeehaws? Get out the AR-15. There's black people outside. What? And then they point at each other. Newspaper photographers are allowed to capture images from public rights of way. The McCloskeys live on a private street and have argued the protesters were trespassing. No one was hurt, and the McCloskeys have pleaded not guilty to an unlawful use of weapon and evidence tampering. The couple said Greenblatt's photo had contributed to their significant national recognition and infamy. They're the ones that went on all the TV shows. I saw them. They went on at least, I saw 2. So if there's 2, what do we know? There's a lot more. How do we know that? Because I have a publicist, and when they do press, you're either doing press or you're not. I don't even know that for a fact, but I'm guessing. Spitballing. Paddles had never heard of that. Spitballing. So they're saying, first of all, they've been used in what do you call it? The government, the political pamphlets and leaflets to solicit money. Their picture has been used, so they don't hate this picture, at all. But they're also mad. Here we go. Here's the real thing. The McCloskeys allege that Greenblatt, UPI, and Redbubble, I don't know who they are all profiting from T-shirts, masks, and other items and licensing use of photographs bearing plaintiff's likeness without obtaining plaintiff. They're pissed because they're not involved in the merch. Unbelievable. How embarrassing. This just means you're a shitty lawyer. You shouldn't be worried about how much longer are people going to buy. I haven't seen a mask. I haven't seen a T-shirt. I've only seen people buying the shirt she had on, which I think is available in a regular store. It's just a black and white striped shirt. And he had on an eyes out or some crap. Often their image on merchandise sold by Redbubble is accompanied with mocking and pejorative taglines or captions. I'm sure it is. Causing them humiliation, mental anguish, and severe emotional distress. Well, that is not what they said on television. They said they'd do it again. They were proud that they defended their castle. Meanwhile, UPI said recently it was considering whether to send a cease and desist order to the couple because of their use of the UPI photo as part of a personal greeting card. Look at these people. Right or wrong, they are unbelievable. So they're using it as a greeting card. For what holiday? Do we have a firearm holiday? Maybe for the 4th of July. Spark your weekend up, spark the 4th up, and then you open the card, and it's one of those sound ones that cost $7, and it goes.
Every day we celebrate the Second Amendment.
The Second Amendment Day, right.
Every day.
Greenblatt, the guy I know, referred all questions to the UPI director of photography in Washington, D.C. That's it, Bill. That's a good man. You pass that shit on. You say St. Louis is not holding this hot potato. Pass it on. Redbubble, I guess that who's making the merch, didn't respond immediately. No attorney is listed for any of the defendants in online court records. I mean, Jesus Christ. They don't even get that this is because they're in their 60s, I think, probably. And in their, I'm not going to go into it, but I think they think that they're going to be famous forever. No, you're like a Twitter deal as a joke, and then it goes away. Yeah, you were a Halloween costume this Halloween. You won't be next weekend. No one will remember you unless you do that again. You can't have it all ways. You can't. Was he on private property or was he not when he took the picture? I don't know. I didn't even know that was a I guess that is a law because of paparazzi stuff. But does that count when it's not paparazzi stuff? This was actually a news event? I don't know. A lot more questions there that could probably be answered. I think we have to take a minute, too, in our updates. This isn't really an update. It's just actual Alex Trebek died. I think we all know that. Super sad. I liked Jeopardy till it got too hard. You know what I mean? I liked, the first round because I could get some. Then when it get real hard, I'd just be like, oh. And sometimes, I was just going to tell you my favorite Jeopardy joke. It's not my joke. It's a joke by a comedian named Keith Alberstadt, and you can find his CDs and stuff online and videos and all that. Steve said, you know, our Keith said, I don't really know that I would be, I don't know that I'm smart enough to go on Jeopardy. Like, I don't know if I would know the answers, but I would be smart enough to sell my answer space to advertisers. So when Alex Trebek says, who is the Mona Lisa? Or no, how would he phrase it?
Painting.
What painting
Blah, blah, blah. And it's in the Louvre.
and then is in the Louvre of a lady smiling, and then it should be who is or what is? I forgot. Who is the Mona Lisa? So Keith's joke, I'm butchering the shit out of it. But start over. Start over, Kathleen. I'd sell my answers for advertising space. So when they said, this painting lives in the Louvre of a half smiling woman. What is Nike? And Alex Trebek would have to go, no. What is Adidas? It was just a funny joke, so.
What are Spaghettios?
What are football Spaghettios? Now this is sad. Maybe, I heard a little thing about Pfizer, maybe having a vaccine. That'd be great, right? I do not understand, and I'm going to start looking it up. I don't know how they can announce this stuff without FDA approval, or even it's in the thing for the FDA. I mean, the stock market's going crazy, which is great if you own stock, and it gives us hope. But until someone else has verified something, they just said, well, we got an early peek at our own research. Well, guess what, sneaky sneak scene? I'm going to see, and we're going to have some other eyeballs on this. That's like me with my football pool going, yeah, I think I'm winning. Which I didn't. My fantasy team was destroyed. And I have 2 guys on COVID. They don't even have a space for that. Injured reserve or bench. How about COVID ward? This is an update. Not a good one. Las Vegas hotels are experimenting with midweek closures to get through the pandemic. Whatever happens in Vegas might have to happen on the weekend for now. A growing number of Las Vegas Strip hotels are instituting midweek closures as they wait out the pandemic. Starting November 9th, the Park MGM, previously known as the Monte Carlo Resort and Casino. I work there at least 5 times a year. I did not even know that the Monte Carlo wasn't called the Monte Carlo anymore. When the fuck did that happen? I know there's the Park because I went and saw Cher there. I don't know. It plans to close from noon on Mondays until noon on Thursdays through December, the Las Vegas Journal Review. Great newspaper, always been very kind to me. Shout out to the Las Vegas Journal Review Journal. Reported citing an email sent to hotel staff. The Nomad, a high-end boutique hotel that sits atop the Park MGM, will remain open. I've never heard of that either. As will the Park's MGM's casino, pool, restaurants, and others.
2018.
It converted in 2018?
Yeah, you were at the Mirage Poker Bar.
I'm always at the Mirage Video Poker Bar. Unless I just have lost so much, I will get my ass up and walk across the street to Harrah's and try over there. But basically, I don't ever leave the Mirage. Don't even tell people this, but even when I'm not working at the Mirage, that's where I go. But usually I'm working. My shows are always at the Mirage lately, as of the last probably 10 years, 5 years. But sometimes I have big corporate gigs off campus. That's what I call any casino other than the Mirage, off campus. And I feel like I'm cheating on them, and I get an extra room over there, and I don't tell the people. But nobody needs to know that, right? Last month, Wynn Resorts instituted a similar midweek closure at its Encore property. Yeah, but you know what? Encore's rooms are beautiful, but the casino is boring. It's a lot of people that I think are pretending they're in, I don't know, like Monte Carlo or Macau, somewhere exotic to gamble, and no one's really gambling. It's just kind of, I never felt that, I didn't feel any life there. It's beautiful, worth the walk. Anyway, in July, the All Suites Palazzo Hotel, owned by the Las Vegas Sands Corporation, stopped accepting weekly reservations I've never stayed there. I cannot comment. That practice will change to accommodate Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. The Las Vegas Strip hasn't been immune to the struggles facing hotel operators during the ongoing many hotels in the Strip and elsewhere have tried to adapt by positioning themselves as ideal escapes for remote work. What? You put me in a casino and you think I'm going to get work done? Not only do I not get work done, it goes the other way. I just turn into a delinquent, debaucherous, drinking, gambling, then I'll find new people to gamble with, no sleep. I don't exercise. I'll eat at a buffet. In the normal world, I probably wouldn't do that. I would just go get something sensible. But why, if you're a crazy gambler, why do you go to the buffet? Faster. Chop, chop. Let's get back to that machine or that table. There's no way. At its Bellagio and Aria properties, MG Bellagio and Aria, very nice. Although I think Lewis and I shopped in Aria once in those stores, and they're kind of pricey, and we didn't see any other people at the time. It kind of felt like, I've never seen the movie, but I saw the ads, Mad Max, like everybody had gone away. MGM Resorts launched the Viva Los Office program, which includes perks like a dedicated executive assistant. What? And the opportunity to work from a poolside cabana? I'm not kidding. Oh my God. What kind of discipline would that take? This would be my version of purgatory. You have to work in a poolside cabana. I guess I can't have alcohol. Probably not. And I have an assistant. Well, what's that person going to do? If you can't go get me a beer, I don't know why you're here. That offering and others like it faced stiff competition, though, as hotels and municipalities from around the world, from Aruba to the Maldives, try to attract remote workers to their empty rooms. So there you go. That makes me very sad because I love Las Vegas, and I hope, and all my friends that work at the Mirage, and we've talked about it, though. Sad times. Some of them are just moving on. Like, they're not even planning on doing that. They're getting other kind of jobs, like teaching and stuff like that, which... Oh, crap, I forgot. I'll show you next time. I was going to show you something else in my update thing. Here's an update. Update. We talked about the great white shark, Unamaki. Do you remember Unamaki? Do you remember? She's in Key Largo. You guys should follow O-Search on Twitter if you like sharks. A massive great white shark was gliding through the waters just south of where? Miami. Thursday morning, shortly after pinging off Vero Beach. Yes, I've been to Vero Beach. I know exactly where it is. So if you're out there, frolicking in the water, just know that Unamaki, one of the world's largest great whites ever tagged, was pinged at 5:46 a.m. off its 2,000 pounds, 14 foot long. How long was the shark in Jaws paddles?
25.
No.
9.
9? No.
18. 6.
You Googled it last time, and now you don't remember. Google it.
I'm busy.
You're not busy. You got nothing going on over there. Yep. So that's where she is. She was tagged in Nova Scotia 2 months ago.
I said, how long was the shark in Jaws? 2 hours and 10 minutes.
2 hours.
How long was Jaws?
How long was Jaws? It was 2 hours and what?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? That's a long movie. Didn't seem like it. Seems like 5 minutes.
It's because you love it.
The reason we know about Unamaki, because I talked about her when she was in Nova Scotia. Her name stands for Land of the Fog.
It was 25 feet.
25 feet?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying.
I said 25 feet.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then you remembered.
Yeah.
Good for you. You could pass the test. You get a Nelly beer for that later. I only have one left. They're hard to find. So this is only 10 feet shorter than the one in Jaws. Her name stands for Land of the Fog in the language of the indigenous Mi'kmaq people of Nova Scotia. I know I fucked that up. But you know what? I don't speak that.
Micmac.
Micmac? Is that what they're called? Micmac, dallywhack, bing the boom. Micmac. Why is it Mick if there's M-I apostrophe K? Why isn't it me, Kamak? I want you guys, for you guys who have watched my Red special, the one on the Netflix, Bothering Jesus. I do a thing on noodling that kind of got passed around a lot. Well, I can't, maybe Paddles can do it in the show notes because I think I sent it to myself, the link. Some noodlers did a baby gender reveal.
Yeah, we'll put
And I think you need to see the video because I can't do it any justice. I'm just going to say the mom, the future mom-to-be is in the bass boat. And then there's a bunch of people, and I'm not even going to tell you how they revealed it because you're going to want to go see it. It's about a 3-minute long video, worth every minute. Let's talk about the election just for a minute. You know, I don't like to go into politics, only because I do like to talk about politics normally, but I feel like that's all we ever hear about lately. So then I go the other way, and I'd rather just talk about silly things like Unamaki and the St. Louis people and why I have a gambling addiction. Which, by the way, I bet, let's just start on that. I'll even say it, bovado.com. That is a website that one of my brothers told me you can offshore gamble, so I've been doing that. And then I said, well, have you ever cashed out? Because that's the part where you don't know what's going on, because I don't know if it's in Net Online. I keep joking it's in Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia. I just keep bringing up countries that don't exist. And then people go, Czechoslovakia. I know. Just simmer down. Maybe it's in the Bahamas. Maybe I get a free trip to Sandals if I win. I don't know. I don't even know. So I said to my brother, I go, well, have you ever cashed out? He goes, well, no, because I do all my football bets. And then I just put it all in the Kentucky Derby, and I've always lost. Okay, good gambling plan right there. I'm going to follow that one. Win all my football bets, or at least half, then take it and dump it on a horse I've never heard of, and I have no knowledge of horse racing. Way to go. But he said that some of his friends have cashed out. So this is how we know the election isn't officially over as of today. Because I haven't gotten paid. I bet $200 on Joe Biden. That $200 will win me $108.11. Trumpy, his odds were worse, meaning you'd have to bet more to win more. Mine was the easy bet, according to their odds. I don't make the odds, so don't yell at me. I'm just saying. I've not been paid. I didn't even try to cash it, but like when I win a football game, as soon as that game's over, boom! And then it says in my account how much I have. Yesterday was a bad day, too, for gambling. Whew, so many games. What the fuck happened to Tom Brady on Monday Night Football? I mean, I don't care if you can't count downs, but you need to win. When Mama Termite has bet on your ass. Not only did you not win, it was embarrassing. And then I have to root for the Saints anyway, because I have more friends that are Saints fans in my immediate life than I do Tampa fans, so whatever, but I lost. So we know the election isn't over because I haven't gotten, it's still an open bet. If it's as soon as you're paid, it's not. There's no open bets. I should have none, and I do. I'm very disappointed in the election in Las Vegas. They were one of the last ones, and that's one of my favorite cities. You know that. They couldn't count fast enough. And I thought, that's ironic because that's the one thing Vegas is really good at, counting. They count chips, points, buffet tickets, diamond points, cash. They still count coins. I don't understand why they didn't call some dealers and go, here's a pile of votes. Could you please whip through this in 5.5 seconds? And they go, sure, no, Trump, Biden, Trump, Biden, done. Now what? Very disappointing. For the life of me, driving a lot in the Midwest and the South, Kentucky, I think you got to get out more. And I say that with love because you elected the talking super turtle, or sometimes I like to call him a tertullian, Mitch McConnell, who laughs without moving his mouth, which is the strangest ventriloquist act I've ever seen. He doesn't even need a puppet. He is his own puppet. How? Have you not driven on your roads? They're terrible, and everybody will say it. You go through Illinois, sure, it's boring. In southern Illinois, it's boring as shit, but the roads are fine. Missouri, Highway 70 is not great, I agree. But for the most part, it's not barrel after barrel after barrel, construction, and it never changes, ever, ever, ever. The minute you cross into Tennessee, we're back okay again. It's Kentucky. And then it makes me think, then I cuss him out. Forget about what else he does. I don't really know what else Mitch does all day, but I know what he fucking doesn't do. And where'd that money go? Kentucky. It's time you got angry about the right things. That's just from someone else's perspective, someone who doesn't live in Kentucky. And I like Kentucky. I like Lexington, like Louisville, really like the that beer, Kentucky ale. Whew, they don't tell you about the alcohol content though. My God, you will be drunk off 2 of those. And before he died, Ralphie May bought me a whole case of it. And I still have some left. So I don't understand that at all. I don't understand Susan Collins at all. I mean, really, Maine? Are you all that indecisive? Well, I don't get the day-to-day on Susan Collins, but every time there's a big hoop-de-ha, she's like, I just can't make up my mind. I'm very concerned. I'll just have to decide later. I don't want to talk about my decisions. Whether you pick left or right, I would pick anybody other that I don't get it. But I've only been to Maine like maybe, I don't know, 6 times maybe, and I love it. But I don't really have a handle on the people. Like I don't know enough. I haven't been there enough. Why? Somebody put it in the YouTube comments. Somebody tell me why. What was wrong with the other person running? Was it literally like a chimp, or somebody's pug? Or no, it wasn't a pug. Somebody won the mayor of a town, and it's a dog. Oh, it's a Boston Terrier, I think.
Very smart, though.
Very smart. Any kind of terrier. Way smarter than my favorite group, the Hound group. Not as all around smart. I don't get that one, but maybe you guys can tell me in the comments. You don't have to be mean about it. I'm just saying, the national stage, we don't get her. Not just Democrats, not Republicans, just anybody. It's Collins. She seems to disappoint the right and the left. I don't know. That was just my question to you. Sometimes I get a question, that's my question. And then here's what I would like to yell at the old people about. I saw this on numerous networks. Old people, lazy people, like to lump all social media together and say, it's just bad. And everything just causes us to be divided. One person specifically, I can tell you who I saw say that, Mike Barnacle. I believe he used to write for the Chicago Tribune. I don't know, he's a pundit, he's on TV all the time. And normally he's fine. I like Mike well enough. But he was just babbling on about, social media clearly is part of why we're so divided, and, Facebook and Instagram, and stop. This is where the old people need a little roughing up. When they're just bad, and he wasn't the only one. There were some people that I actually really like, but they're old on these channels, are blaming all social media, and I just do not. Facebook, yes. You put shit on Facebook. My friend Ron White, for instance, he put up something like "Go Cowboys," and then people are like, fuck Black Lives Matter. What? He just said "Go Cowboys." But if you put that on Twitter, here's what will happen on Twitter. People will go, I hate the Cowboys. That's fair enough. Fair enough argument. It's football. We're not jumping into these jump-offs that Facebook, and Facebook has all the fake crap on it that goddamn well is fake articles. I don't know why people would choose to believe this shit. All you have to do is look at where it came from, then research that site. But I don't think it's fair to put Instagram in that group. I really don't. Or TikTok, for that matter. TikTok's hard for me because it's so loud. I feel like I'm being assaulted. Here, I'll prove it. Here's what happens when you go on TikTok. And that's why you can't do it secretly either. Like Instagram, if I'm sitting waiting somewhere, I can just go through it. But here's what happens on TikTok. Do I have the volume up? Okay, it just started. That's Justin.
Put a finger down, liberal.
So,
Oh, it's Meryl Streep.
Cher.
To the 50. To all of those.
It's just a lot. It's a lot of. Okay. It's a lot. Here's it.
Coffee.
It's a lot with coffee. It's a lot with any. And then here's Instagram. Do you hear anything? No. I don't see any division on Instagram. I can't speak enough about TikTok. I haven't really been on it long enough. But no. Here's some lunch features at my golf club. Nice. There's a picture of Lindsey Graham. Annie Lennox. We love Annie Lennox. And then it's mostly beagles. See, these are beagles. These are my site. There's nothing, I've never seen anything hateful on Instagram, ever. And think about that. I mean, some days I look at a lot of this shit. Some days I don't, but there's my friend Dave Little. Justin Trudeau by a flag. What's wrong with that? Somebody adopted a raccoon. Oh. Sometimes I get my mysteries from this. This is on Instagram, Facts and Conspiracy. So you have to judge on your own. This is the only thing I would even call questionable. Everything else is just, no, I'm not going to read all that. That's crazy. But, golf.com. Beagle puppy. There's a picture of a beagle in a tiny hammock. It's not. I get so irritated when they just lump them all together. And I think it's lazy. And I think it's old people who don't understand the differences between them all. There. I've said my piece. Let's move on, shall we? Well, the other thing about the election. Oh, look. Oh, it's my mom. Let me see. She called me a minute ago and she thought I was United Healthcare. Hello?
Hey, Kathleen.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my mom. And I answered and said hello. And she said, is this United Healthcare? I said, no, this is your daughter. She said, who? I said, Kathleen. Oh, well, do you have a 1-800 number? No, I don't, Mom. No, I'm not Stormy Daniels. I don't have a 1-800 number. Well, that doesn't make any sense because United Healthcare just called and I hit the call back and it went to you. That's the kind of stuff when it's your parents, you just go, fucking weird. I don't know, Vicky. Okay, moving on. My election thing, my last thing. Nothing can be topped. Whatever you think about Trump, I think Rudy Giuliani's lost his shit. I think he did a great job during 9/11. I think he got popular, and then he wanted to stay popular, and he couldn't stand the fact he wasn't popular. And so now he sticks himself in these situations, and the Trump situation being one of them, where he wants to stay relevant. He wants to stay one of the cool kids. I don't know how old he is. I'm over 75 is my guess. And, Giuliani, I mean, he fought the mob and won. He had an era of glory. It is now time to not do this shit anymore. Because instead of booking the Four Seasons Hotel for his press conference, they booked Four Seasons Landscaping Company, which is located between a crematorium and adult bookstore. And we all know there's no books in the adult bookstore. It's just a bunch of sex toys. So he's between a sex toy shop and a crematorium. I'm happy for those people at the landscaping company because they got a lot of free press. But Donald tweeted out Four Seasons, and he goes, oops, Four Seasons. Why wouldn't you guys change that? You're in charge. Nobody set that up, made you go. You should have said, hey, we fucked up. Whoopsie, there's a lot of Four Seasons, which there are in every town. It's if you do Four Seasons, it's like Nashville. If you say the Hermitage, well, that could mean a golf course. That could mean Andrew Jackson's actual home. It could mean a wonderful hotel in downtown Nashville. So if you're doing something that's common, Four Seasons, wow. And they went. And Rudy gave a press conference. They nailed Trump cardboard signs behind him on it looked like one of those sliding doors where you'd go in and there'd be mulch in there. Like, is that where it ends? Come on. Just because you tweeted it doesn't mean you have to go. You could have said, we fucked up. We're not doing it. We'll do it later today, maybe at a different landscaping place. Maybe he could have done it, I don't know, they're in Philly, down at the Eagles Stadium or something. I don't know. All right, here's one for you. The CDC is lifting the cruise ship ban in U.S. waters, but it's conditional. If you're one of those people who've been eagerly awaiting the chance to take a cruise out of U.S. ports, not this lady. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention released a bit of good news for you on Friday, and this was Halloween. This came out. The CDC is letting its no-sail order for cruise ships in U.S. water to expire on Saturday. In its place, the CDC has issued a framework for conditional sailing order for cruise ship that starts on Sunday, November 1st. But that doesn't mean lots of ships full of passengers will be sailing like it's 2019 starting next week. The key word in this order is conditional. The order is the first cautious step towards the resumption of cruising in an industry that has been devastated by COVID-19 since the no-sail order was placed on March 14th. Friday's order applies to cruise ships with the capacity to carry at least 250 passengers. Well, if you have less than 250 people, I don't think that's a cruise ship. I think that's a supper barge. Dinner cruise? Dinner barge. A Missouri paddle wheel boat, maybe? Yeah, it's one of those. We have a lot of those in Missouri because of who? Mark Twain. So then the books, and then we have the what the people in the book. The ships are named after them. Anyway, so these are quote bigger ships, but the phase return begins while cruise ships. They will build lab capacity to test crew members and future passengers. Companies must show they are adhering to testing, social distancing, quarantining, and isolating requirements when necessary. Later phases involve mock voyages with volunteers playing the role of passengers to test virus migration strategies on trips. Who the fuck? Who would do this? Hey, honey, what are we doing next weekend? Well, I heard that we could go on a fake cruise and we will be the volunteers playing the role of passenger. That's really going to happen. I don't know. People will do anything for free shit. Maybe they'll just give them a free cruise if you do it. Would you do it? I wouldn't. I don't want to go on a cruise ship when there is not a pandemic. So I sure as shit don't want to go when there is a pandemic. Okay. Now here's a little something. Who's been watching The Queen's Gambit? I told you guys, go watch it. It's 6 episodes. That's it. Then it's over. I'm not going to go into the specifics of what happens in the show, but I loved it. And I loved that there was a happy ending. I won't tell you what the ending is, but everything works out. And it was just such an, I think that, you don't see these anymore. You don't see anything where there's just a happy ending. It's always, I don't know, some weird ending, or it doesn't end, or it's a bad ending. It was just I thought it was just a wonderful show that was weird. And then, because I'm unemployed, I went down the rabbit hole of chess. And I remember as a kid, I know people are going to think this is crazy, but I remember in 1972, so I would have been 7, and every weekend I really liked Wide World of Sports. It was on ABC with Jim McKay. And I don't know who did that announcer, but also there was a guy that had a really funny joke. His first name was Rick. I can't think of his last name about that guy, because they would always show that Austrian who crashed on the ski slope. And that's all they ever showed for years. That was their opening, that guy. And Rick said, where is that guy today? He's probably up in some cabin in Austria, in the slopes of Austria, going, it wasn't that bad. There are others that have fallen. Why do you say me? Every Saturday is me, over and over and over. But yeah, I never thought about that guy. He became famous probably for the wrong reasons. There's a million races I do not crash. One race, and now I am the joke. Yep. But anyway, I loved Wide World of Sports. And then one Saturday, me and my dad were sitting there, and Wide World of Sports came on, and it was chess. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I didn't know how to play chess. And then they were saying, like, this guy was world famous, and then I found out there was money to be made, so I made my parents buy us a chess set, and then we all played, but it always ended up with someone flipped the board through the pieces. That's how frustrating chess could be. Like Monopoly, somebody would be the cheating at banking. That's how that one usually ended. Somebody's a cheater. We all know who. And you can't let that person be the banker, blah, blah, blah. But chess just ended with somebody getting frustrated and go, whew. And I still like chess, but I'm not good at it. I'm not smart enough like that way to be, every move I make is reactionary unless I had the first move. And then it's proactive. But after that, like you have to be able to see so many moves ahead and then plan for that. And then it becomes hard. So I only like to play chess with other people that sort of suck. And then nobody's really, like I could never play with somebody who's really good. Like that wouldn't be fun. That would just be terrible. But then here's what you guys should do. If you've never watched it, Searching for Bobby Fischer, and then the other one was Pawn and, hold on, I gotta look. There's another really great one with Tobey Maguire. Pawn and Night? No, Pint?
Pawn and Pint. Here you
No, Pawn and Pint's in Kansas City. Well, I like that. What's Pawn and Pint?
Pawn Sacrifice.
Pawn Sacrifice. That's a great movie too. And it just gives you a glimpse into how crazy Bobby Fischer was. He died. I don't really know what was wrong or not wrong with him. Some form of mental illness. But you can go on YouTube and find a shitload of videos. He was the world's greatest chess champion forever and ever and ever. And then he had like crazy moments. Crazy might be the wrong word, but he would just disappear for 20 years. And then he would say things aren't fair. And a lot of the shit he said was true. Like he held up one competition because he said, this is bullshit. The Russians have limousines. The Russians have this. And they did, because the Russian government wanted, during the Cold War, their chess people had to be the best in the world, blah, blah, blah. And they got treated like rock stars. And Bobby Fischer's like, my government doesn't even give a shit. And he was right. They're using him as saying, look, the American's going to beat the Russian, but they're not giving him the perks. So I understand saying, hey man, can I get a few of these things? It was how he would do it and what he would do. But I went, and there was just a few things I wanted to tell you about his craziness. But, he was also raised in St. Louis. I'm like, what? There's another St. Louis shout out. Look what happened to him. It's a wonder I'm not this crazy. He really went off the edge. His Wikipedia page is forever. But if you go watch those movies, and then if you go online and YouTube, just put in interviews with Bobby Fischer, the real guy's on there, because he ended up living in Iceland because he violated some U.S. law. They wouldn't let him come back, and then he went to like the Philippines, like just crazy shit. Like nothing within the realm of. He kind of reminds you of the same level of smart as that John McAfee guy that I always talk about. I have no updates on him. I think he's still in that Spanish jail. Same type of kind of guy. So if you're bored and you want a rabbit hole and sports in your thing, he won in 1972 the World Chess Championship, and he didn't play a competitive game for nearly 20 years. And he's the guy I saw on Wild World of Sports, but I was too little to even know. His life as an immigrant in 1992 after the match with Spassky. Oh, by the way, he did come out of retirement at one point to play 3 computers at MIT, and he beat them all. So, what's that tell you? He ended up dying in Iceland. That's a great rabbit hole if you're just into people. You don't even have to understand chess. And the Queen's Gambit, you don't have to understand chess. You can just watch the story. I do understand chess, but I don't understand, for instance, like I guess some real chess person wrote a laundry list of what's wrong with the movie, and I read it, but I thought it was nitpicking. Like, okay, we get it, you're a real chess person, but that'd be like me if they did a show about comedy, like, and then going, well, this is what's wrong with the stand-up, and it was just like one thing, like, we don't use that kind of microphone. Okay, well, whatever. Was the gist of it right? The gist of it, I thought everyone else has said was right. So, before we get to our mystery, watch The Queen's Gambit, go YouTube interviews with Bobby Fischer, the real one. Wow. And he got a little racist there at the end too. He's very anti-Semitic and he was Jewish, so that's super confusing, right? Okay. Murder Hornets. Have you guys been worried about that? I have. Because I don't know, the Midwest and the South, just so many bees. I didn't even know what they were, so I've done the homework. I'm going to tell you what a murder hornet is. First of all, they're about 2 inches long, so it's like this big. So a regular hornet, which I'm afraid of, is about this big, maybe this big. They can sting you through your pants. They will not kill you unless you have an allergic reaction, but if a bunch of them get to you, the level of poison is enough to make you super sick. They have entered the United States. Nobody knows how. They got 85 of them in the state of Washington out of a tree, a hive. They sucked them into a vacuum, and they were still alive. And then I don't know what they're going to do with them, but it's an effort to, because they kill bees. That's the problem, as I read, because I didn't know, well, why do we care? I mean, unless you're allergic to them, but people are allergic to bee stings. People are allergic to all that kind of stuff. So, you know, you can't just, why would you really care? They fear their work is not yet done, getting the 85 out of this tree. Well, right, because if there's 85 in that tree, I'm sure some queen hornet, not one of these queens, queen hornet, has already flown off. That was the first nest spotted October 22nd outside the town of Blaine in Washington state. And 2 days later, a team donning white protective suits set up scaffolding around the tree to open the nest. The cavity of the tree was filled with foam and covered with plastic to prevent the hornets from escaping. They got sucked up into basically a dirt devil. That's what they got sucked up into. And they're thinking that maybe this could stop it. One of the hornets returned late Thursday to the nest. So, right, you think you got all of them because the nest is empty. Some of them were out shopping. They weren't even home when you did this assault. No-knock warrant. Let's put it that way. I'd call it a no-knock warrant. The invasive insect is normally found in China, Japan, Thailand, South Korea, Vietnam, and other Asian countries. Washington State and Canadian province of British Columbia are the only two. By the way, shout out to Canada because Alex Trebek was Canadian. Not a lot of people know that. The Canadians know. But Americans, I think they just assumed he was American because he sounds like us and he was on our television. So Americans just go, he must be American, and he's not. The only two places they've been found, British Columbia, Canada, and Washington State. It's not clear how they got here. Although they release painful stings to human, the insects are more of a danger to honeybee colonies. A group of the world's largest hornets can kill an entire colony of honeybees in hours. But see, why don't they do this in these other countries? Do they not have bees? Do they not have honey in all these places? Nobody explains that. They decapitate the bees and they feed the bodies to their young. That's why they're called murder hornets, Paddles. Murder.
It's awful.
Decapitation. So there you go. I wanted to know what a murder hornet was, and I looked it up for you guys, and I've told you. Let me make sure there's nothing else. In Japan, the hornets kill up to 50 people a year. Now, how many people are killed by bees a year in this country? I have no idea. Probably not that many. I've never heard of one. But just know, I don't think the murder hornet scare is over by any means. And I think they've gotten around. Now, I'm going to put this one here because I'm going to save that one for next week. Little story there. But it's mystery time. Mystery time. Where are we going to go for this week's mystery? To Vermont. This is weird. And I never heard of it. And I've been to Vermont. Once again, though, it's like Maine. I haven't been there a lot. I've been there some. Nestled in the foothills of Vermont's Glastonbury Mountain sits a mysterious area known as the Bennington Triangle, not the Bermuda Triangle. Before the land was ravaged by murders, unexplained disappearances, and all manner of strange sighting, the town of Glastonbury and the surrounding settlements had been a booming logging area sprouting up shortly after the Civil War. Okay? Now the area sits abandoned, save for a few through hikers and thrill seekers. What happened in the town of Glastonbury before it was forgotten, and why do so many consider the land to be cursed? To answer this, we will travel back in time. Let's see, why didn't... What, Paddles? People like a story. Oh, they even have a map of the triangle. I probably drove right through this shit and didn't even know it. The year 1867 would mark the first bizarre reports coming from the Glastonbury Mountain region. 1867, so it's right after the Civil War. Numerous residents reported encountering a cave-dwelling wild man who was known to terrorize women in the towns of Bennington and Glastonbury. Witnesses reported that the man had pulled back his long coat to reveal his nude body while waving his pistol wildly before retreating back into the forest. Well, I don't know that that's really a mystery. I mean, I think we have a drunk flasher living out in the woods. Cursed? I don't think because you have a pervert, you're necessarily cursed. I'm not buying this just yet. Let's keep reading. He's a drunk guy with a gun going, woohoo, check out my unit. The Glastonbury Wild Man, as he would come to be known, would only be the first in a series of unusual events that would plague the area. Yeah, I would call it unusual. Because what's he doing living in the woods? How's he getting food? Yeah, one pistol, he had to get more ammo. Where's the bullets coming from? He must have come into town with a trench coat on. You go, oh, that's our cave dweller.
Amazon.
What? Amazon, exactly. In 1892, in the town of Fayetteville, which is considered to be the heart of what's known as the Bennington Triangle, a 38-year-old jobber for the Eagle Square sawmill, that must be a wood term, John Crowley was bludgeoned with a rock by fellow mill worker Henry McDonald. Okay, so far we got murder. That's a murder, but it's not really something where I would call it, no one is certain what led to the murder, but local historians agree that the men had been drinking heavily and arguing the previous night. After it was discovered that Crowley was dead, McDowell hopped a train in an attempt to flee to Canada. He would later turn himself over to the South Norwalk, Connecticut authorities and confess to the murder. McDowell was declared insane after complaining of voices in his head and was ordered by a judge to serve out his sentence in the Vermont State Asylum. McDowell, however, had other plans, He was able to make an escape. Concealing himself inside a train car hauling a load of coal, McDowell was never seen again. Some believe he may have made his way back to Glastonbury to roam the forest for eternity. Well, I mean, we could all say that, right? I mean, for people that disappeared. Oh, I bet they went to roam the forest for eternity. Well, others believe this story may have been confused with another legend from neighboring New Hampshire concerning a distraught doctor who fled to the forest of the White Mountains in hopes of achieving immortality, only to become the embodiment of evil. 5 years after McDowell's escape, a second murder would occur within the Bennington trial. Now, did he do this? It was the first day of deer season. Note to all my deer hunters. And 40-year-old John Harbor, a prominent Woodford citizen, set out to Brickford Hollow in hopes of shooting down a buck. Instead, he was shot dead. When his body was discovered, it appeared that he'd been dragged several yards from where the shooting had been taking place and left beneath the cedar tree, where he slowly bled out with a fully loaded rifle behind him. Although the murder would come as a shock to the police never located any suspects, and the unsolved murder of John Harbor would long be forgotten. Okay, so far, we got a drunk pervert, we got two drunk guys in a fight, and then probably another hunting accident. Somebody shot him. The murders for Crowley and Harbor would set the stage for the area's slow decline and give rise to the legends that the area is now known for. The logging industry had all but dried up, and attempts were made to convert South Glastonbury into a resort. A boarding house once used by loggers was converted into a hotel, and a derelict apartment building served as a casino. Oh, I like to gamble a lot, but I've seen shitty casinos, and there's nothing more depressing than a shitty casino. Even from a gambler, I just go, no. A derelict apartment building being, ugh. The resort only lasted one season before a flood in 1898 destroyed the railroad tracks. Thus, Glastonbury and its neighbors' settlements would remain vacant to this day. Okay, that is pretty creepy. Like in America, you can still go find a place where there was a whole thriving town, not a city, and then it's just gone. I'd like to go now. More than 4 decades would pass with little activity in the Bennington trial. That's when the disappearances began. Middle Rivers would be the first documented disappearance in the area. Rivers, Oh, his name's, oh, Mitty. I didn't read that. Mitty Rivers. Rivers, an experienced mountain guide, had been leading a group on November 12, 1945, when he vanished without a trace. Witnesses claimed he was able to get ahead of the group near Long Trail Road, an area 75-year-old Rivers had been extremely familiar with. Well, he's 75. Maybe he had a heart attack and then just collapsed. With the help of volunteers, they scoured the man. All right, they went and looked for him. Turned up nothing. In 1949, it was claimed 3 hunters went in the woods on Glastonbury Mountain, never to be seen again. This story is widely disputed since there's no reports documenting the event. Okay, well then you don't write that. Here's some bullshit, but nobody ever said it happened. Well, we'll throw it in there. In another disputed disappearance, James E. Tedford was said to have boarded a bus in St. Albans heading towards Bennington. When the bus arrived at Tedford's stop, the man was nowhere to be found. Reports do indicate that Tedford had been reporting missing. However, whether or not the man had been within the Bennington Triangle limits at the time is a matter of conjecture. 2 disappearances would end this streak in 1950. A little boy, 8-year-old, disappeared. They tracked his scent. They couldn't find him. Approximately 2 weeks later, Frida Lander vanished while on a camping trip. She and her cousin had split it up when Lander headed back to the camp. Her body turned up the following May in a field that had already been searched by police, firemen, volunteers, and even the military. Throughout the decades, there have been many terrifying theories on what happened to all of these missing people. One of the more bizarre theories includes a man-eating stone that, according to Native American legend, would swallow men whole if they happened to step on it. Even before the white settlers began moving in, the Native Americans refused to go near the mountain, claiming the top is where the 4 winds met and instead would only use the land for burial purposes. Okay, well, I side with the Native Americans. If Native Americans said, don't go up there, fucked up shit happens, I'd be like, I will not. Mysterious lights in the sky has been reported back as far as the mid-1800s, when the once thriving logging industry came into the area. The most recent sighting of strange lights occurred in 1984, when numerous witnesses claimed to see silo-like lights jetting from the heavens as they were hiking through Glastonbury Mountain. See, now this is where the hiker people, I understand the temptation of wanting to go, but I wouldn't go on foot. I'd go as far as a car goes, and I would have a weapon and some sort of fire, something to start fires with. Fire freaks people out, just like that. And then they said, could the unfortunate souls who are lost forever in the forests of the Bennington Triangle but have been abducted by extraterrestrial beings, or had they met their end by some other mysterious means? Then they think there's a Bigfoot up there too. Yeah. The most recent sighting of this strange creature, human-like creature, occurred in 2003 when Ray DeFrinzi had been driving near the mountain and spotted a black thing along the road. He described the thing as being covered in black hair and appeared to be well over 6 feet tall. Several others reported similar sightings around the area at the same time. Whether these missing individuals were kidnapped by a mysterious creature, abducted by aliens, eaten by a stone, or were simply the victims of tragic misadventures, something we may never know for certain. Whatever secrets lie inside the Bennington Triangle will be forever locked away in what remains of the town of Glastonbury. So, any Vermont people listening to this podcast? You guys been there? I'd like to know more. Now it's a rabbit hole. Now I'm gonna start Googling shit out. But we do know there was a town there. And it was, if you were a logging town back in the day, there must have been I think it'd be cool to go see what's left of the town. I don't want to get abducted or eaten by a rock. And I really don't need some now ancient man flashing his unit at me while wielding a pistol. But there you have it, termites. It's been a big week. Big week hanging out with the old people. I mean my parents when I say that. Okay, well, I've had a lot of fun. I'm done with my beer, so that means I have to go. That means I will tuck you guys in. Storytime has started with Loretta Lynn, so get your Storytime t-shirts on my website if you don't have one. I ordered some more per your guys' pre-orders and yelling at me because I don't really do merch. I'm not a big merch person, mainly because I don't feel like dragging it around the country, and then somebody's got to sell it, and I don't know. It's a lot of work. And do you guys want a Pubcast t-shirt? Do you want one? Have you seen the logo? I would put it on black, I think. People were complaining that there weren't black t-shirts, but I bought white because it goes with everything. But so does black, I guess. How about a black Madigan's Pubcast t-shirt? You guys want those? You could have them by Christmas time, maybe. I have to check and see what the guys at the place of the hoop-de-ha, of the la-di-da. All right, Stevie, Tanya, Dolly, and Cher, and me. I'm going to tuck you guys in and say it as we sign off. Night-night, termites.